Welcome to the Soul Awakening Academy podcast series. I'm your host, Anne-Marie Mayers, and founder of Soul Awakening Academy. The stories you'll hear are from our master spiritual life coaches and energy healers, women who have gone to the brink of burnout and found the spark within themselves to turn their pain into their greatest purpose. So sit back, relax, maybe grab a pen and a piece of paper as we share their vulnerable stories of adversity to strength, and maybe you'll take some practical skills and strategies you can implement in your life now. And for a thank you, if you want to tap into your unique spiritual purpose, join the 3-part masterclass series below and let me help you find your level of greatness. Okay, Jo. So welcome. So thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed. We've got so many inspiring women that have trained with Soul Awakening Academy, you being one. You've taken our master spiritual life coach and energy psychology training, our spiritual facilitator and trauma-informed coach, and our quantum holographic healing training. You've taken so many different courses.
Chakra alchemy,
Chakra alchemy, and you already came from an amazing healing background, which we'll talk about. And we were just having a little off-camera chat about the theme that you'd chosen. And pain to purpose seems to be a really popular theme, but you were in two minds whether to choose loss to leadership. So we've had a little chat, and we're going to talk about your journey from loss to leadership and what that means to you, because loss can come in so many different shapes and sizes. So we'll talk about the effects, the pain of it to the positive side of it, which led you to have, as you say, your spiritual awakening and do what you do now. But I'll introduce you. I'll just read a bit of your bio, and then everybody listening will understand who you are, what you do. So we have Jo Crowell, and Jo is a spiritual teacher. She's a master energy and womb healer, and your theme is really empowering women. So Jo serves as a guide on a transformative journey of deep healing and self-mastery. And Jo's mission is to empower women to unlock their inner potential, liberate themselves from limiting beliefs, and embody the radiant essence of their souls. And she does this through ancient wisdom and modern techniques, and she facilitates profound healing at the energetic and spiritual level, whether that's clearing energetic blocks, reclaiming your power, or awakening the divine feminine within. And as well as teaching other skills, Jo's here to support you every step of the way on your transformative journey. So welcome, Jo. It's an honor to share the space with you. So let's just talk a little bit more about your journey, especially with the theme of loss to leadership. How has that taken shape in your life, and how has it got you here today?
Wow. So my story is probably childhood trauma, abandonment and rejection from my mother, although I grew up in a normal family. It wasn't a broken family. But I was rejected. I was the firstborn. I was rejected by my mother, who couldn't cope. Obviously, I didn't know this at the time, but that sort of played out through most of my younger life. Very much suppressed emotions, masking who I was. I probably knew from an early age that I had a spiritual and psychic ability about me, but it was always pushed firmly down. And all these suppressed emotions, I just would just keep burying them deep inside of me. I used to drink a lot as well. And so I was this whole other person. Now, if I look back at it, I was this whole other person, party animal. Do you know what I mean? That was who I was. But actually, that really wasn't who I was at all. And a culmination of things building up over time resulted in me having ovarian cancer. And I ended up having to lose my womb, my ovaries, everything. So for me, and I hadn't had a family, and that was everything that I ever wanted to do, really. So my loss really was not being able to be a mum. And I now know, obviously, through the healing and the therapy and the work I've done with the Soul Awakening Academy as well, just how much that early years has played such a big impact in my life.
Yeah.
And it was only after I had my surgery, I was still experiencing all the symptoms still in my physical body, as if I was still, you know, had the cancer. And it was then that I went to, actually, somebody said to me, said, oh, well, you might, well, it was actually my GP, believe it or not, said, why don't you go and see an energy healer? I can recommend somebody. And I thought, gosh, this is really sort of left off. In those days, particularly, I was 30 when I went to see this energy healer, and I went in completely, oh, I'm not letting this lady know anything about me. You know, I've heard about these sorts. They feed off what you tell them and everything. And I literally went into beautiful little house in the country, actually not far from where I live now, funny enough. And she said, I'm just going to lie on the bed. I want you to just lie on the bed, she said, and I'm just going to work around your body. She said, you don't need to tell me anything. And I thought, And this lady worked all the way around my body, waving her arms about like I do myself now, clearing energy, releasing stuff, releasing blocks and stuff like that. And at the end of it, she turned and said to me, relayed off all these events that had happened in my life, my younger life, even to when I'd fallen over as a child and had hurt my head, all these different things that she could not have possibly have known. But more importantly, she pointed out to me that the pain that I was still experiencing in my womb, even though I didn't have a womb, was all related to my childhood. And it just completely blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. I was just, how did this lady, she didn't touch me, she didn't ask me any questions, and she told me all this information about me that I thought, wow. And that was really the start of it for me. I thought, oh my God, I want to know how to do this. I want to learn how to do this. And so I embarked on learning how to do energy healing, started with Reiki, and I did subtle energy healing. And all alongside of that, obviously, because my life had changed, I went into career mode as well. So alongside my spiritual awakening and learning to do energy healing and become a spiritual life coach, I was actually running a high level corporate life as well, as at director level. So I was I had about 40 team of 40 people under me, and was turning over 40 million turnover a year alongside. So I was juggling both careers at the same time. So from feeling devastation and completely losing everything, to me, it felt like everything, not being able to be a mother and to have my own family. I sort of went full into actually making something more of my life. And that at that leading time was more of that corporate career. And then I just woke up one morning on my 50th and went, oh, gee, I just can't do this anymore. Can't do this anymore. I'm just going to go full on and do my spiritual healing, and help other women full time and everything, and, you know, stepping away from that childhood trauma that they may have experienced. And how that, for me, the biggest thing for me has always been how all that emotional trauma is affecting our physical body, and how a lot of the illnesses, a lot of the modern day illnesses that we experience today are all related to a deep emotional trauma. And even more so, you know, we're healing in this generation ancestral trauma as well. So things that our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents would have experienced. And when you look back across those generations, that's quite a lot of healing.
Yeah, heavy and generational trauma. Yeah, that can come through. Yeah. Wow, what an incredible story. I'm so glad that we you
one into the other.
do that because that ties in so beautifully with the energy, the womb healing work that you do now with women.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think is making the biggest impact in the work that you do now?
Definitely the sacral healing for me. I mean, I do a lot of energy healing all round. Do you know what I mean? But the sacral healing for me is where the deep-seated trauma sits. I think for me that sacral energy without clearing that, it defines whether the root chakra particularly feels safe. And I think a lot of women and everything, the reason they're not empowered is because of that safety thing. But a lot of it, I feel, actually stems in the sacral. I
Yeah.
think once you can rebalance the sacral chakra and release the trauma that's sort of trapped in the cellular memory, then I think, that allows the root to almost sort of breathe and say, actually, we feel safe now. And I
Yeah.
think that's where the power comes from. I think the sacral is opens up that feminine energy for us. Do you know what I mean? And unleashes that creativity. But I think it's the safety element in the root chakra is what's really required for us to fully step forward.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And just for the benefit of people listening, and maybe they don't know about the chakra system or what the root chakra or the sacral chakra is, the root chakra, we're kind of said to have this energetic system that feeds the physical body. It gives us our cues about what's happening internally and externally. It's like this network system interface, the outside world and the inner terrain. And the root chakra, they say, it opens and blossoms between the ages of 0. So when we're developing in mum's womb to 7, that's when we're kind of having this physical and spiritual experience with our chakra system and our physical body, 0 to 7. So all the memories contained around safety, tribe, belonging, being with the family, identity are in the root chakra. And then as we go from 7 to 14, which as a female is I'm totally on board. It's the most important time of a young girl's life, is that pubescent transitionary period of where
Yeah,
you, and the sacral is about, I feel, and you can add yours to it, it's about like self-esteem.
yeah,
It's, we find a tribe that we reflect back to us the values, our values, or how worthy we are.
yeah,
It's where our boundaries can be negated or put into
yeah,
place. And also with the womb as well, that creativity, that feminine power. It's how we say no, it's how we respect our bodies. And we can't do any of those things without feeling safe, or we will
yeah,
do those things because we don't feel safe. And then that ultimately leads us to have an unbalanced
yeah.
sacral chakra. What do you find are the themes that people come with when you're working with the sacral chakra? What do you notice about the women you work with? What's a pattern or a theme that occurs for them?
So most of them are not seeing themselves.
Yeah.
So a lot of women don't actually see themselves, don't see their own vision. They don't see their own likeness. They end up being sort of people pleasers. They self-sabotage their own dreams. And that I always find is quite a big disconnect between the sacral and the heart. Because when we
Mm,
do womb healing, we actually reconnect back with the heart. So once you actually reconnect with your heart's desire and your soul itself, then that reawakens those dreams, that energetic cycle and everything that you need to start fulfilling your dreams. But a lot of women and everything, I find it's very much is that not seeing their potential, not seeing their own power, their own essence.
mm,
They just don't see it. They don't see how amazing they are as
yeah.
women, and actually all the gifts that they already have all within them. So they're still searching outside of themselves and everything for validation. They're still searching, to fit in, to belong. Whereas actually, when you address that imbalance and everything into the sacral and then into the root, you're able to fully express yourself as to who you are, not
Yeah.
somebody who somebody told you should be.
Exactly.
And
Just
that's where the power is, I believe.
that's where your true power lies, and it's in it's in the sacral. That manifesting power
Yeah,
lies in the sacral, and that for me is the biggest theme of the sacral. If
yeah,
you think back when when I was like 7, growing up a teenager, you're hitting the 10, the 11, you're rebelling against your parents, you're trying to find
yeah,
your own identity, so you're looking at your friends who tell me who I am, tell me how I can fit in here.
yeah,
Tell me if I'm accepted by you because, been accepted by my family, that's just a given, or not accepted, whatever,
yeah,
but you're seeking that wider circle now.
yeah,
And if we don't heal that and we take that into adulthood, like you say, it then affects our intimacy, massive thing for me.
absolutely,
It was a
absolutely.
huge thing,
Yeah,
intimacy. Um, Vulnerability, all of those things are in the cauldron of the womb, the
yeah.
sacral chakra. What impact do you feel you're helping people with? Like, are they coming to you and then you work with them with techniques to help them feel? How do you help them feel like a sense of safety, or as you say, where you feel that the golden nuggets lie for them?
So for me and everything, it's a lot of it is the ancestral healing.
Mm,
So actually removing that from that ancestral line. Quite often in everything, a lot of the women that I work with, the patterning they've got is actually not their patterning. It's a patterning that's been passed down through the generations, especially if there's like matriarchal family lineage. Do you know what I mean? It's you can see the dependency actually running through as a thing. And quite often as well, what I find is a lot of women have had abuse in their family line, so they may not have experienced abuse themselves and everything, but there has been abusive behavior in the family line, and that is actually still triggering that emotional feeling of not feeling safe in their current lifetime as well. And I've seen that quite a lot as well. For me and everything, it's about readdressing the balance within the sacral, within the womb, um, clearing out not just that ancestral trauma, but also this lifetime's trauma. Do you know what I mean? We will have all had different sexual experiences, different partners in our lifetime, and each one of those is leaving an energetic imprint within our womb. And actually, if you don't clear that out, you're still carrying out. And that energetic imprint that isn't just about your partner that you've been with, but it's also the partner's previous partners as well. So when you think of it as a big sort of energetic cauldron, you can be carrying around a lot of frequency that actually doesn't belong to yourself, really. And probably why I'm so passionate about energetic hygiene, really. That whole disconnecting, that the releasing of the cords, to making sure you're cleansed and everything. Do you know what I mean? Particularly before you start another relationship, um, within that.
And when they talk about quantum entanglement, where
Yeah,
the DNA and they can split an atom and have one in 1 million miles away,
yeah,
one here, and then it goes beyond fast. It goes faster than the speed of light.
yeah, yeah. That's right.
uh, when you change one
Yeah,
aspect, half of the atom, it's simultaneously, so it's faster than the speed of light changes the other one. So
yeah,
that's how we become kind of quantumly entangled. So if
yeah,
you're sharing DNA with someone, um, for a period of
yeah,
time, you're going to be kind of in an entanglement with somebody else's beliefs, their
yeah,
generational trauma,
yeah,
all the stuff that's going on for them. And, we can become attached and we think the thoughts are ours when they're not. We can
yeah,
feel that the emotions are ours when they're not.
yeah,
And we've left a piece of ourselves with them.
yeah.
Oh,
I think that's wise as well. And one thing I have noticed when I've done, because obviously I work with a lot of women with gynecological problems, fertility problems as well and everything. But one thing I've noticed is endometriosis, which is quite common now. It probably never used to be talked about so much, sort of 30 years ago, but it is quite a problem, and it's quite a high thing that women suffer with. Endometriosis is by its nature layers of the lining of the womb, and it's layers of trauma.
Right.
So women that are suffering with like endometriosis, usually I find and everything, have quite a lot of layers of trauma, not maybe just in their lifetime, but in previous generations that have built up and built up, that need to be actually pulled away from them. And I have quite a lot of my fertility ladies and everything all have high endometriosis or polycystic ovaries. And I've been very fortunate and everything to be able to give my ladies and everything, some respite to be able to then conceive, by removing those energetic layers of trauma. But it's quite fascinating. I love the way that, as we learn at the Soul Awakening Academy, how we bring in that energetic and that spiritual element into the physical, and actually how you can actually look at what's happening physically and then see what the energetic entanglement is associated with that. It's quite incredible, really.
It is. And when you kind of like when you energetically open yourself to the possibility that it's not just a 3D reality that we're in, it looks like it, but actually you can tune in. We do it anyway, like, but people don't realize that when they get on the bus or when they're walking past a stranger, we're picking up on other people's frequency. Like that's literally all we are. But anyway, going off piste. We can tune in. We just consciously have to open. It sounds crazy, but you consciously have to set the intention more so to be that more open vessel, to tune in. And I love energy work. It's the thing that led me to, do what I do today. But just sharing something that really helped me, because I used to suffer badly with my menstrual cycle. And I did have a bit of endometriosis when I was younger. And I read a book, and I can't remember what book it was, but it landed with me, and I thought, I'm going to try this, because my periods as a child were incredibly painful because I had endometriosis. So, oh my gosh, it takes your breath away. And I read this book, and this book said, however a woman experiences their menstrual cycle is how they're experiencing life. And I thought, wow, so the pain, the excruciating pain, the being taken off your feet, just being, in a ball of pain, is how I feel about life. And I thought, yeah, it is. So I started to change my attitude, the way that I thought about life, and I don't have painful periods anymore. I'm a lot older now, but it really, really 100% helped just changing that thought pattern around life. It changed my experience with my menstrual cycle. Isn't that incredible?
I quite often say so a lot of the ladies that I see that have fertility issues, obviously what I tend to find is they actually don't have a very good relationship with their womb, because the womb isn't performing as they want to. I know it takes two people, do you know what I mean, to obviously get pregnant and everything, but because their womb isn't performing in a way that they want it to, they start actually impacting negativity towards it. And it's the same if you suffer really badly with your menstrual cycle. You go, oh no, this month, straight away we inwardly start punishing ourselves or putting in negative vibes into our body about it not performing, when actually for that womb to perform, what it needs is lots of love and nourishment and healthy love expressed into it. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, if your womb is a temple, You know, it's your own inner temple and everything, and it's your vessel of creation. But we get so absorbed with the 3D world of, oh, it's not doing what I need to do, or it's a nuisance, it's stopping me doing things in my life. Then we wonder why we have bad monthly cycles, or we can't get pregnant, or, you know, numerous other things and everything. And I think sometimes it's that attitude, that mindset towards our womb and our relationship with our womb is actually what's holding us back, because we look at it as an inconvenience at times. I remember feeling like that. I would have been like you. I would have really struggled. I barely had a 10-day cycle. And so it felt constantly for me in my early life and everything, like I was never ever not having a monthly cycle. Obviously now I know differently. Do you know what I mean? And that all that negativity and the fact that it was ruling my life at the time and everything, the more I was getting obsessed about it and upset about it not doing what it should be doing and how it was controlling my life, the more I was actually adding to it not performing like it should.
Yeah, I hear you. And you know, with the work of Emoto, with the water molecules and how
Yeah,
we speak to, you know, in the experiments he did, a glass of water,
yeah,
spoke beautifully, kind words, and that
yeah,
was a healthy vessel at the end
yeah,
of the experiment. And the opposite to another glass of water, spoke negative
yeah,
affirmations to it, and it all went discolored, or whatever happened to it,
yeah,
it was just off.
yeah,
So, you know, as we speak to our bodies, it's all being absorbed, the vibration has changed, and people think, well, oh, it's a bit woo woo, or I don't really understand it. Well, just think of your emotion, of
yeah,
your range of emotions as frequencies. You want to be in a higher frequency state to reach a level of kind of peace, joy,
yeah,
enlightenment, love. That's where all the higher frequencies, these emotions have been measured, and the frequencies that are higher are the more joyful ones,
yeah,
which will open you up to life, help you achieve what you want to achieve. And the lower frequency emotions, like the fear, the shame,
yeah,
or the anger, they're low frequency. So when we're talking to our bodies at low frequency, well, changing it to low frequency,
yeah,
you know, it's dimming us down, and it changes your DNA. Your DNA
yeah.
recoils instead of, you know, when we're in state of love and joy, your DNA opens
It
so many more
expands out.
possibilities. And when we close, it closes down. So just
Yeah,
on a health level, without it being like, oh, this is BS, woo
yeah,
woo. No, it's actually scientifically
yeah,
proven.
yeah,
I think is I can never remember names now. I think I'm perimenopausal. David Hawkins, the emotional frequency scale. I think that's his
yeah,
name. Um, it's all, you know, these things are proven now. Emotions
yeah,
have a frequency, it's out there. So just research it if anybody's in doubt
yeah,
about the power of affirmations to the body. Why would I do it? Why would I bother?
yeah,
Well, this is the reason. If you want to achieve anything, then have a higher frequency
yeah,
resounding through you. Don't keep yourself trapped in low frequency. And the first thing is your thoughts, isn't it, Joe?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and everything. And I've seen I've seen it in my clients and everything, and I've experienced it myself and everything. You know, the more you have the right mindset and the right attitude, do you know what I mean? The more that you desire in life and everything, you know, will present itself, and those opportunities will present itself to you.
Yeah, because imagine the golden opportunity presenting itself when you're down here on the
Yeah,
floor in that low city
yeah,
frequency. Like it's just a complete mismatch, isn't it?
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
So
yeah,
get there and you'll get that.
yeah,
What kind of takeaways or top tips would you share with women who are maybe thinking, gosh, this sounds like me, you know, the women that you help, it sounds like me. What would you, are there any top tips you'd give them, or what would you say to somebody who's listening who kind of thinks, well, what can I do today?
yeah. So for me, it's always been about cleansing your energetic field. I always go by the, you know, the three principles. So disconnecting you. So every morning, so my daily ritual, if you like, and everything, morning and at night, is disconnecting from anything that's not energy that's not for my highest purpose. I also do an energy cleanse. So whether that's with some sage, with some crystals, using a scan, a metaphorical scan and everything to cleanse your energetic field. And then I always reconnect into what's for my highest purpose. And then I put a lovely big golden bubble of protection all the way around me. And I wouldn't dream of going, certainly wouldn't go to work, normal work or any work. Don't get in the car without a bubble, and just protect my energy in everyday life, really. I probably go to the other extreme and everything, which is a bit woo. So I have like filters, energetic filters on the front door and the back door. Yeah. So I always make sure and everything there's one on the back door, because I can feel my husband's energy from work as he pulls up on the drive.
Put one on him.
So there's a nice filter on the back door. So when he walks through, he's all nice and cleansed from the day. And we've only got to deal with our own energetic trauma.
I love that.
To deal with his work trauma.
I absolutely love that. Just one thing that's like coming through to me about you know, somebody's listening and they know they might have kind of some blockages in their sacral. Like I'm getting the vision of you know, having a bath, basically going into the water, because that's where the womb is, and doing a meditation while you're in the bath. Because for me, like the sacral is all about the mother line, isn't it, really? It's all about that feminine mothering issues or connection. Maybe somebody hasn't had any issues with mother wounding or generational, so maybe everything's all okay, but they feel themselves that they've got some blockages around there. I always think on this path, like when we've had trauma and it stems from our families that we're conscious of, then for me, when we think about ourselves as a spirit, you know, we're spirits having this experience in a physical body, and we're, you know, designed to have these traumas and experiences and challenges, part being human. But to take ourselves out and actually connect with our spiritual mother and father, I know we do it on quantum and chakra alchemy, but connecting to the actual spirit mother that our souls have incarnated from, that we can connect back to, and bypassing any emotional traumas that we may have experienced from natural mother or anything like that, and feeling a sense of the spiritual mother's love, which is on a much deeper level. It's not human, it's way beyond human, it's energetic, and we can maybe increase the level of love that we can put into the womb and have an experience on that level if it's possible. But people can reach out to you for sure. And you work with people, don't you?
Sorry?
You work distantly with people. You can work.
I do one-to-ones in person and everything. I have a therapy room here at home and everything, but I mainly work and everything distance wise and everything, and you know, in online, like over Zoom or whatever. But yes, it's interesting you say about connecting with the spiritual mother and father, because actually when I ran a autumn equinox last year and everything, and we did exactly that. We rebirthed to our and reconnected with our spiritual mother and father. It was beautiful.
I love the rebirthing and all of that, and just going out feeling
it was
like
beautiful. It was
amazing.
Lots of chanting, lots of dancing.
Yes, freedom of
the
body. Oh my God, really? That's incredible. I love that. You know, one of the biggest breakthroughs I've had is freeing myself from the body, from the you know, Wilhelm Reich talks about body armoring. So when somebody like feels super awkward dancing, taking space, we were just talking with Dr. Tegan Elm before, and we were saying about when we get trapped in the body and we're scared of owning our space. Well, that was me. I was scared of owning my space, didn't want to move, didn't want to breathe too heavily. But then just being like brave enough to break through, to dance, to jump around, to make noises. Oh, it was so like
liberating
to me, but doing it was 100% freeing. So if somebody can come and experience that with you, that is such a liberating experience.
Yeah.
Just before we go, what impact do you think training with the Soul Awakening has made on not just your life, but on the lives of your clients?
Oh, it's been huge, huge, really. I probably some of the modalities, so like chakra alchemy, QHEH and everything, I probably don't do a client session without incorporating that in. So I may bring other things in, but underneath there will always be, for sure, always chakra alchemy. And even if I'm doing just a subtle energy healing, I will probably do a bit of chakra alchemy just beforehand and everything to affirm what I'm picking up intuitively as well. So for me and everything, it's been very much the groundwork in terms of my spiritual business.
Amazing. That's so
Yeah,
cool. That's great to hear, Joe. Thanks for
yeah,
that. That's
yeah, yeah.
incredible. Oh, well, I'm really glad to be part of your journey because your story
Wow,
is so powerful.
it's been a big part.
Yeah, yeah, I'm honored and I can't wait to get your story out to women. And I'm so glad that we chose this theme because
Yeah,
the sacral chakra, I didn't think we were going to go there, but we did, and it's going to help so many people. So
yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Brilliant. No,
Thank you
thank you for
so much.
having me.
Lots of love.
And to you.
Take care.
Bye.